to Old Soul Podcast. My name is Bree, that's spelled B-R-E-I. Thank you so much. Today's commentary review will be about the film Cuckoo by director Tilman Singer. And today, this review / commentary will be a part of my new release series, so I will try to avoid spoilers at all costs, as this film is still in theaters, and this is just a way to convince you to go see the film, and or prepare you for what to expect. So, our story follows our main teenage character named Gretchen. She has recently moved to a new home in a new location, in sort of a vintage time frame. It's not our current modern time. I don't know, some older time. Right off the bat, we can see that Gretchen is sort of the odd one out in her family, as her father has apparently remarried and has another child, and Gretchen often feels like she is purposefully isolating herself from the awkwardness of the family, but it also is apparent that the family isolates her in ways as well. And I think the only other person who often seems to care about Gretchen is the only other child in the film often, and that's her younger sister. You can see that there are issues going on internally with Gretchen that the film does a really good job at slowly giving us breadcrumbs toward, and the climax of finding out the real internal issue is deserved in the end. And we see that the turmoil internally starts to show itself externally when Gretchen rejects a lot of the situations that she's going through in the household, as well as outside of the home, when this man in the film, who is sort of, I guess you could call him the puppet master, he owns the villa or the inn and a lot of the land and the houses that they're living in. It sort of feels like a cult. Everyone listens to what he says, to the point to which her adult parents seem to not question anything that he says or does. And she notices that it's weird, and she verbally says it to him and to everyone around her that she thinks it's weird. And it's just another form of Gretchen rejecting the restraints and labels that are put onto her, and outside of just her wanting to leave and be anywhere else but there. And she also has to deal with the gaslighting from most of the adults in the film, telling her that she didn't see what she thought she saw when she gets attacked several times by this mysterious being, and how the adults ignore her, in some forms exploit her, and use her to their advantages. And it's just odd. We, as the audience, I personally feel, get a really good standard of pacing with the moments of action that is violent. And I also feel like it grounds Gretchen's character, because she is not invincible, and she does bleed, and she does fight, and it is a fight. And because she's so isolated, and because we are so ingrained in her perspective, it feels like an even stronger fight to survive against all odds. And there's a very good climax in the end, and several twists that feel like they're earned and are delivered very well, against all odds, against the adults, against the horrors of the realities. The cinematography feels very beautiful, good lighting, creating suspense through sound or lack thereof, enticing the audience to feel fear and wonder and questioning things that feel ambiguous in the beginning of the film, but really do get validated toward the end. The use of music and vibrations and how all that connects to the characters and the plot is done very well. So I think that ultimately, the film is one of the best films that I've seen this year, and that's beyond just the genre of horror and thriller. It is just on its own a really solid film, and with a good ending, with a lot of twists that I didn't expect. It just looks great on film too. On screen, I really did enjoy that. How visually pleasing it is, despite how graphic and scary it can be. I wouldn't say that I was on the edge of my seat scared, but I was on the edge of my seat interested, wanting to see how this goes. And I do think that the thing that drives the film outside of all those amazing things that I talked about is Hunter's performance as Gretchen. How, despite this main character's flaws of not being the picture perfect teenager, that is the thing that grounds this character. Their flaws, their brattiness, their realness, their attempts to keep getting back up even when everyone pushes them down, and the fight that they have throughout the film. I think that's really what pushes it, because when you don't have a character that's interesting or that you're rooting for or that you understand to some extent, even when they are not perfect, then what do you have?